Forest City Community Church Online. We're so glad to be here with you today as we're continuing in our Pursuit series this weekend talking about Esther. It's going to be a great service this morning. We hope you guys enjoy it.
Good morning. Welcome, everybody, to Forest City Community Church. Today, I was talking to Siobhan before the service. She said that song, all of the millennials are going to feel very nostalgic right now. And you know, if you are feeling that right now, you're in that song, which is really actually quite appropriate for this morning. Like, little girl, you're right in the middle of the ride. Kobe's actually going to be speaking today. We're in this series, and we're going to look at the life of Esther. And she found herself as a young woman in the middle of something very, very significant, and much like sometimes we find ourselves in, and she found a way with God's provision to work through that in such a powerful way. So we've got a lot for everyone, whether you're a millennial or you're just another person today. Welcome to church, and we're going to worship together. So let's stand up and let's engage and worship God together.
Well, like Rob said, we want to spend some time worshiping God together. One of the ways we do that is we sing some songs, we focus our attention on Him. If you know them, sing them out. If you don't, that's all right. Let's just enjoy the music together, and let's just maybe listen to the words, and let's just have a great time praising God. Let praise be a weapon that silences the enemy. Let praise be a weapon that conquers all anxiety. And let it rise. Let praise arise. We sing your name in the dark and it changes everything. We sing with all we are and we claim your victory. Let it rise. Let praise arise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side, forever lifted high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Let faith be the soul that overcomes the raging sea. Let faith be the soul that calms the storm inside of me. Let it rise. Let faith arise. Let it rise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side, forever lifted high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, 'cause this is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise you. Come on. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you. We praise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side, forever lifted high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. We're going to learn a brand new song together today. It's called Who is Like the Lord. You're seated on the throne of mercy. Your glory shining bright for all to see. Oh God, I will praise you. Magnificent with grace unending. You rescue us with love that never fails. Oh God, I will praise you. Let's sing together. Who is like the Lord? 'Cause who is like the Lord? Strong in battle. Who is like the Lord? Mighty to save. Who is like the Lord? King forever. Jesus reigns. Jesus reigns. You're seated on the throne. Nothing can stand against you. You're holy. You reign. You reign in all the earth. You reign in all the heavens. You're holy. You're seated on the throne. Nothing can stand against you, Lord. Let's just pray together for a moment. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for bringing us together once again. Thank you so much for these songs, that they allow us just to focus our attention on you and who you are. Thank you for the beautiful message of today. As we learn about Esther and her life, and as we learn about what you want us to learn, God, we just pray that you would open up our hearts to you, that we would just find something in here that's just for us. So thank you so much once again for this beautiful day, for the chance we have to be together and to worship you like this. In Jesus' name, amen. Before we sit down, why don't you just turn and welcome someone to church today.
All right, so a little trivia question. Who's gonna actually watch this soccer game at 3 o'clock this afternoon? Just curious? Okay, all right. There are quite a few soccer fans in the house. Canada against South Africa. I always get a little, it's always a little hard for me to really go yay, because we also have South Africans who are part of our church, so I got to temper it down a bit. And then even like last night, it's like Portugal and Colombia, and like I'm like, yay, but because we have Portuguese, we got Colombians as well. So I feel like I'm in quite a bit of a spot. I've got to be quite diminished about my feelings about all this. But anyways, it's been wonderful and quite exciting to watch. The World Cup, a lot of that's about leadership. The team that is led the best typically wins. And we do an event every year at this church called the Global Leadership Summit. And it is coming at the first Thursday and Friday of November. And this is our last day for kind of the early bird special. So if you are interested in being part of that and you want to cash in on the early, so far it's only been Dutch people who have signed up really early, because they like saving money at every opportunity. But anyway, it's open to everybody, actually. And you get, I'll see a signature hat from our church if you sign up, I think, today as well. So be aware of that. I want to say welcome if you're new today. If you're newer to Forest City Community Church, we're so excited you're here. Maybe you came last week, you came with the baptism, you saw somebody baptized that you know, or you've just been coming and you want to make a bit of a link and you're interested a little bit and you feel like, okay, I can be known now. We have a New Here booth right outside in the atrium there. We've got some lovely people, and they also are going to give you a gift and just make a little connection, so be aware of that. And then the other thing is also be very aware that this is the last 9 o'clock service of the summer. Starting next week, we go to summer service, single service summer times. We're going to say that. We're going to say that, like single service summer. So it's going to be 10 o'clock next week for both. So we're going to collapse both the 9 and the 11. We're going to be in at 10 o'clock. So be ready for that. It's going to be fantastic to just have a lot of cross-pollination for the summer for that as well. So that's going to be great. And then, yeah, before I get off the stage, I just want to again say thank you to the many of you who are part of our generosity community here at the church. Generosity is one of the core things, along with prayer and service, that drives mission and ministry at our church, locally, regionally, and even internationally. And I want to thank you for your consistency of generosity. And if you're newer and you say, I want to be part of that, you can check the QR code that's going to come in just a moment, or go to the Welcome Center, and you can find a way where you can get into that process of regularly also giving God some of your tithes and offerings as well. So with that, let's carry on the service.
Technicolor parade. How'd I get so lucky to be sitting front row? I know I don't gotta be the one to tell you what I know you are.
When a coin gets flipped, there's a 1 in 2 chance of it landing on heads. Flip that same coin 10 times in a row, and the odds of landing on heads every time drop to 1 in 1,024. To guess someone's 4-digit PIN on the first try, 1 in 10,000. The odds of winning the lottery are about 1 in 292 million. And pulling a certain card from a deck, 1 in 52. But if you shuffle that same deck of cards, the chances of it ever being shuffled into that exact same order again are 1 in 80 unvigintillion. That's the number 80 with 66 zeros after it. To put that into perspective, even if billions of people shuffled a deck of cards every second since the beginning of the universe, they still likely wouldn't repeat the same shuffle twice. Every time you thoroughly shuffle a deck, you're probably creating an order that has never existed before in history. So what do you think the chances are of your parents meeting and every one of their ancestors surviving? The exact timing of your birth, every friendship, every conversation, every good thing and painful thing you've ever experienced, all shaping you into exactly who you are in this moment. It's not something so simple as 1 in a trillion. The odds become so small they stop functioning like ordinary numbers. There has never been another combination of experiences exactly like yours, and there never will be again. You were created for such a time as this.
Hold on, buckle up tight. Feels like this is your time to shine. And shine. And what if this was the day your life finally came to life? Oh, life. So take a good look at yourself and say, why not now? And why not me? What if I actually believe what Jesus, what he thinks of me? Once you know who you are, that ceiling becomes a floor. So fly, fly. Why not now? Why not me? What if I actually believe what Jesus, what he thinks of me? That changes everything, so why not now? And why not me? Woo! So take another look at yourself and say, why not now? Why not me? What if I actually believe what Jesus, what he thinks of me? Oh, why not now? Why not me? What if I actually believe what Jesus, what he thinks of me? 'Cause that changes everything, so why not now?
Wow, what a great song. Love that. Love that. Well, good morning. It is so good to see you this morning. Something happened. Okay, let's just take a little look here. Oh, I'm red. Let's find Kelly. Let's talk amongst yourselves. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly is the best. Love Kelly. Yes. Yes, we appreciate all our tech people very, very much. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. Let's try that again. Good morning. It is such a beautiful day. It's such a great day to be in church today. And here we are, the last weekend in June already. School is over. Proms are done, exams have been written, graduation is complete, and summer is waiting. And like many of you who are making summer plans, Rob and I are looking forward to a couple of weeks of vacation in July. And it's going to be really, really fun this year. Well, it's always fun, but this year is going to be very special because all of our family will be here in London in a little later on in July. So it's our 4 kids and our 10 grandkids, and we're going to spend a few days together. So that's going to be fantastic. So Rob and I have been having some conversations about all the things we're going to do and where everybody is going to sleep and all the food that I need to get into the house. But we are so looking forward, especially to see all the grandkids together. So as we're talking to our daughters and our son right now, the cousins are so excited to see each other. And I was thinking about them, going to be all together this summer, and I was remembering the stories of each of their births, because each one of them, as you can imagine, is so very, very special. But I remember one in particular, and that is our second grandson, and his name is Weston. And what was very exciting about his birth was he was born 3 weeks early, so that just took all of us by surprise. But I remember the day he was born, and we were talking to his dad, that's Matthew, or we call him Matt. We were on the phone with Matt. Well, actually, Rob was on the phone with Matt, and I was in the same room, but I was the one asking all the questions. So what did they name him? First question we asked. So Rob goes, what did you name him? Well, we named him Weston. Then, how long was he? And Rob would ask Matt, how long was he? And they'd tell me the answer. And what did he weigh? And what time was he born? And how was Michelle doing? And so Rob was listening to me, and then he'd talk to Matt, and he'd ask him the question, he'd tell me the answer, finally he just hands me the phone and goes, here, you talk to him. Right? I don't know if it's a female thing, but we need details, right? We want the details. Well, at one point in our conversation, Matt mentioned he was just so struck by how helpless his newborn son, because this is their first child at this point. And he grew up on a farm. He has lots of experience with animals and with baby animals. And he knows how independent baby animals, almost just from the beginning, right? But human babies, not so much. They're very dependent. They're very frail. We could even say they're rather powerless. But there is one thing they do not lack, and that is influence. At 2 a.m, when a newborn baby wakes up hungry, do you think he or she has influence to get his mother or father out of bed? Of course, you bet. Well, newborns are not the only ones born with the ability to influence, because every single one of us has this ability. Watch a 2-year-old throw a tantrum and a parent cave to their demands. That's influence. It's the influence of peers that causes a teenager to miss their curfew. It's the influence of clever minds in advertising that induce us to buy stuff we don't really want and don't really need. It's the influence of a police car when you know you're doing 70 in a 60 zone to hit the brakes. And it's the influence of a nana, that's me, to influence her cheap Dutch husband, would be Rob, to buy an overpriced airline ticket every time a new grandchild is born because she can't wait to see them. Influence. I have it, you have it. And influence is simply the power to change or affect someone. And influence can be used for good, or it can be used for bad. And we can be oblivious to our influence on others, or we can be deeply, deeply aware of it. And influence is this powerful thing because it connects with a longing that resides deep in every human heart. We long to know that we matter. We want to know we can make a difference. And something deep in us just longs to even be unique, to be extraordinary, to live a one-of-a-kind life. And one of the ways we can live that one-of-a-kind life is to recognize the influence we have and then to use it and to choose to use it for good. Because the truth is our influence can be accidental or it can be used with great purpose. So the question is not, do I have influence? A better question is, how will I use the influence I have? So this morning, we're turning our attention, as we've been saying, to a woman in the Bible named Esther, and it is a fascinating story. And what I love about her story is she faced a very unique situation that caused her to use her influence in a very dramatic and life-changing way. And I think there is so much we can learn from her life about how to use our influence in situations that we find ourselves in. And we could say Esther primarily used her influence to lead up. And let me explain what I mean. We usually think of leadership as something that primarily happens downwards. Most of the leadership books are written about how to lead the people that you are either in charge of or responsible for. So whether you're a boss who oversees a number of workers, maybe you're a teacher who has a classroom full of students, a CEO who has a staff to manage, a board member who oversees an organization, or even a parent who leads a family. Well, John Maxwell, he's a well-known speaker and a writer on this whole topic of leadership. He wrote a book a number of years ago called 360-Degree Leadership. Great book. But this is the concept that in any business or organization, or we could even say family, we influence other people because we lead in a variety of ways. And we not only lead those who report to us, we lead those who work alongside of us, like our coworkers, our peers. But at times, we also need to lead upwards to those who are our bosses or anyone who is in authority over us. Well, in his book, it's called Leading from the Second Chair, Mike Bonham gives this definition. He says, you are leading up if you are a person in a subordinate role who has an opportunity to influence others and add value throughout the organization. And this pretty much applies to all of us. I mean, we all have degrees of authority at home, at work, even as a volunteer, we could say. But we also all have others in authority over us in different aspects of life. So everyone leads up to someone at some point. And Esther's story has some practical lessons for us to learn about influence, and specifically how to use our influence to those in authority over us. In other words, how to lead up. And Esther's story is told, it's a really small little book in the Old Testament. She was a Jewish woman. She lived in Persia under the reign of a king named Xerxes. And she lived during the Jewish exile in Babylon in the time between the rebuilding of the temple and the return of the exiles to Israel. And you know, there is lots going on in this story. There's lots of intrigue, there's lots of details, there are many, many layers, and I won't be able to do justice to all of it. So I would just encourage you to take some time this week and read her story for yourself. But what I would like to do is, first of all, just tell you the story. And you may have heard it before, maybe you've never heard it. But I'd like to tell it, just hitting the highlights, and then we're going to draw out some key learnings about how influence works and how we can use it more effectively in our lives. So when the story begins in chapter 1, there's a party going on. Verse 1 says, "This happened in the days of King Xerxes, who reigned over 127 provinces from India to Ethiopia. At that time, he ruled his empire from his throne at the fortress of Susa. In the 3rd year of his reign, he gave a banquet for all his princes and officials. The The celebration lasted 6 months, a tremendous display of the opulent wealth and glory of his empire. So King Xerxes was a rich and powerful man. His kingdom stretched from the west coast of Africa all the way to India, and this really was what you'd call the known world at that time. So we could say this guy, King Xerxes, ruled the world. And as the story opens in chapter 1, he's giving this extravagant party. And it's a party that goes on for about 180 days. So let's just say if we started the party today at the end of June, we'd still be partying at Christmas. Yeah, that tells you something about what a very wealthy king he was. And as the party goes on, it tells us the king decides to send for his wife, the queen. She's a very beautiful woman, and he wants to show her off. But when the king sends his request for her appearance, she refuses to come. Maybe she said, and I'm kind of busy doing my own thing. Maybe she said, I'm not having all those men ogling me. We don't know. We don't know. But she refuses to come. And so the king does what kings do. He consults his advisors. He says, I need some help here. What should I do? And they say, well, you have to get rid of her. Right? Her refusal is setting a very bad precedent in the kingdom. If other women hear of her refusal, they will rise up and insubordination will run rampant throughout the nation. That's what it says. And they're actually afraid the wives might get feisty and start disobeying their husbands. So they say, okay, she's got to go. She's got to go. Well, back in the ancient world, kings were mainly about three things. They were about acquiring power, they were about maintaining power, and preserving order. And maybe the king's advisors thought it best that they could preserve order in the kingdom by banishing the queen and finding a more suitable and hopefully more compliant replacement. And then someone has the idea that they should hold a beauty contest and that the king would get to choose a new queen, kind of like an ancient version of The Bachelor, we could say. So this advice was very appealing to the king. And if you're kind of picking up the sense that this king is very open to suggestion and open to influence, you are sensing right, because that is going to play a large part in this story. But this is where Esther enters the scene. There are a number of Jews living there in Susa, and one of them is a man named Mordecai. And he has a beautiful cousin named Esther. And she is taken to the palace to be part of the beauty contest. And the Bible tells us that the girls who are chosen undergo a year of beauty treatments. Can you imagine going to the spa day after day after? You can? Yeah. Well, when her turn comes, Esther's taken before the king, and let's just say he likes her. He really likes her. He likes her more than any of the other young women, and so he makes her his new queen. This is where the story starts to get really interesting, because the king has a right-hand man named Haman, and Haman has a problem with Esther's cousin Mordecai. And it seems that Mordecai does not show Haman the respect that Haman thinks he's entitled to. And so Haman gets his nose out of joint. And Haman uses his position and his influence on the king and convinces the king that Mordecai should die. And not just Mordecai, but actually all the Jews in the kingdom deserve to die. And the king agrees to this plan. The king is easily influenced, and Haman knows it, and Haman uses his influence. Well, when Mordecai finds out what Haman is planning and that he has the king's backing for this plan, he realizes the only person who can possibly save all the Jews is Esther. So he gets word to her in the palace, and he urges her to go to the king and use her influence to plead with him to spare the Jews. So Esther finds herself in this seemingly impossible situation. And you need to understand, in those days, anyone who would dare go before the king without being invited would likely be put to death. And Rob talked about this last week. Nehemiah found himself in a very similar situation. You only spoke to the king if you were invited. So this was a risky ask. However, if the king decided to show mercy, and if he received Esther, then her life would be spared, and she could plead on behalf of all her people. So Esther has this big choice to make. Should she go before the king and risk death, or choose not to, but then the future of her family and her whole nation would be at stake? What to do? Well, as Esther is deciding what to do, Mordecai sends her a message, and the basic thrust of the message is, don't think that the king will spare your life. Maybe you are in the palace for this exact purpose. You know, kind of like that song Matt just sang. Maybe Esther asked herself, well, why not now? And why not me? Why not me? So Esther decides she's going to do it. She's going to use her influence with the king. And so she asks Mordecai and the Jews to pray for her. And then she goes before the king, and he's receptive, and he listens to her, and eventually he fulfills her request to stop the slaughter of the Jews. So that's the story. That's 10 chapters in like 5 minutes. But what I want to do is I want to take a look at some key learnings from Esther's one-of-a-kind life. And I think the first thing that we can learn from her life is when it comes to using our influence, simply recognize the influence that we have, because this is where it all starts. Recognize the influence that you have. And I believe Esther was initially completely unaware of hers. It was Mordecai who ends up pointing it out to her. He said this in verse 13, he said, and don't think for a moment that you will escape there in the palace when all the other Jews are killed. Who can say but that you have been elevated to the palace for just such a time as this? Mordecai is thinking, who do we have that has influence? Who is close to the king? Esther. Esther, she has all these things in her favor. The king has chosen her because she pleased him. She has an intimate relationship with the king. She is living right there in the palace. It's perfect. And he says, use your influence, girl. Well, if Esther needed to be made aware that she was born with the ability to influence, maybe you do too. Maybe you don't see yourself as an influential person. Maybe you don't see yourself as a leader. Well, you don't have to be a leader to have influence, because we all have influence. And if you need a person to point it out to you today, let me be that person. And when you live with an awareness of your influence, you engage your world and you engage the people in your world, and you realize that what you do matters, and what you say matters, and how you interact with other people matters. And your coworker becomes someone, not just someone you nod to while you're passing in the hall, but someone you take the time to get to know. And your kids, you have such influence with your kids. Engage them in conversation about their day, their thoughts, their struggles, their hopes, their dreams. We can take for granted the most ordinary opportunities for influence. And there are people in your life that you can influence in a way that no one else can. Well, let me just explain it this way. There's a screen coming up here. So at the center of this is our friends, and then as the circles get bigger, family, neighbors, co-workers, then to our city, and then to our world. And as the circles broaden out, we have less and less influence. But the mistake we often make is we spend a lot of energy on these people in the outer circles and trying to affect things in these outer circles. But the reality is, the greatest opportunity for impact, to make a difference, a real difference in someone else's life, is in the very inner circle. Those that you are closest to. This is where you influence the world in a way that no one else can. And the king, smack dab in the middle, in the center of Esther's circle of influence. And she had an opportunity to influence him in a way very, very few people could. So ask yourself this question, and maybe you want to think about it this week. Who is in my inner circle of influence, and how can I engage deeper in their lives? All right, so what do we do when we recognize that we have influence and that our greatest influence will be on those who are closest to us? Well, there's a second thing I think we can learn from Esther's story, and that is to use your influence on behalf of others. So Esther makes her decision. It says in chapter 4:16, it says, "Though it is against the law, I will go in to see the king, and if I must die, I am willing to die." And once Esther recognized that she had influence with the king, she decides to use it, and use it with purpose. And not for herself, but on behalf of her people. And I think, possibly later on, after these events had passed, when Esther realized, her nation was saved and she was safe and Mordecai was safe and that Haman's evil plot had been foiled, that she was probably very glad that she had risen to the challenge, that she had decided to use her influence, that she had led up, because it made an enormous difference in the lives of so many people. And you have been given this ability called influence. Not to use it for yourself. It's not for your comfort. It's not for your benefit or even your enjoyment. You have been given it to use it for others. Because using our influence wisely is a powerful way to love and serve other people. And it's what will give us the deepest satisfaction in life. Because here's the truth. You can choose to use your influence for good on behalf of others, and then your life will be full of meaning. Let me give you a great example. In the spring of 1994, the world listened in disbelief as reports about genocide in Rwanda became reality. After killing the president on April 6, Hutu extremists tortured and executed 10 Belgian peacekeepers, and then in just 100 days, an estimated 800,000 Rwandans, both Tutsis and Hutus, were murdered. Although their technology was rudimentary, mainly using machetes, the killers achieved an extermination rate 5 times greater than at Nazi concentration camps. By June, more than 4/5 of the Tutsi population residing in Rwanda had been massacred. In his book, Leading Up, Michael Useem tells the background story to this tragedy. How a Canadian named Romeo Dallaire arrived in Rwanda in late 1993 as force commander of the United Nations peacekeeping operation. He watched in panic as tensions rose, and when it looked like something terrible was going to happen, he cabled his superiors. His report to the UN headquarters on January 11, 1994, went unheeded. His request for troops, arms, and a mandate to prevent the impending genocide was ignored. At the end, all he could do was try to save as many people as possible. And in his book, Michael writes, Romeo Dallaire had anticipated and forewarned against the human catastrophe that swept Rwanda. For Dallaire and his UN superiors, the haunting question in the years since has been whether he could have more forcefully delivered his message and whether the UN could have been better prepared to hear what he said. Had Dallaire's efforts at upward leadership succeeded, had his dire prophecy been heard, Rwandan history might have lurched down a very different path. And then listen to this. Leading up requires great courage and determination. We might fear how our superior will respond. We might doubt our right to lead up. But we all carry a responsibility to do what we can when it will make a difference. And the Bible says it this way in Philippians chapter 2. It says, don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interest, but take an interest in others too. I mean, honestly, and I'm just going to point this out really briefly, there is a dark side to influence. And that is when it becomes all about me. And Haman fell into this trap. It became all about him and what made him look good and what power he could wield. He used his influence. He actually exploited his influence with the king for his own benefit. And if it becomes all about me, if my influence becomes all about me, I forget that my God-given influence is to be used on behalf of other people. But if I don't choose that, then it becomes self-serving and has potential to turn into something that is very, very ugly. So recognize that you have influence, choose to use it on behalf of others, and thirdly and finally, and we're going to wrap up with this, use your influence with humility. So Queen Esther, our brave Queen Esther, goes before the king uninvited, and he welcomes her, and then he asks her, "And what do you want? What is your request? I will give it to you, even if it is half my kingdom." And this is how she answered the king. She said, verse 3, "If your majesty is pleased with me and wants to grant my request, my petition is that my life and the lives of my people will be spared. For my people and I have been sold to those who would kill, slaughter, and annihilate us. If we had only been sold as slaves, I would remain quiet, for that would have been a matter too trivial to warrant disturbing the king." You know, the humility with which she makes this request is just disarming. She says, "If your majesty is pleased with me, my petition is this. If it had been anything less, I wouldn't have even bothered you." Right? She doesn't come across as demanding or critical or belligerent. She's soft. She's self-effacing. She's leading up with humility because she knows that the king has the final say. So it's important how she comes across and how she presents herself and how she presents her request. And I think often we undermine our influence when we come across as harsh or demanding. I mean, that just turns people off. And if the center of our influence is those who are closest to us, then we need to be so very careful about this because these are often the people that love us the most. But it's unfortunately often the people we are the least careful with when it comes to our words and it comes to our attitudes. Your attitude determines the amount of influence you have. And that verse in Philippians continues along like this, and it says, "Your attitude should be the same that Christ Jesus had. Though he was God, he did not demand and cling to his rights as God. He made himself nothing. He took the humble position of a slave and appeared in human form. In human form, he obediently humbled himself even further by dying a criminal's death on a cross." Our greatest example, the greatest influencer of all time was Jesus. And when it looked like his influence was at its end, it was really just beginning. He influenced more people through his death than anyone else. More people know his name, follow his teaching, tell his story, serve his cause than anyone else in history. And he changed the world through the lives of a bunch of one-of-a-kind people. And this is what he might do through you and through me. Because you were made to influence the world in a way that no one else can. And God can use you right where you are, in a classroom, in a boardroom, in a living room, wherever you are, whoever you have influence with. Esther lived a one-of-a-kind life, but so can you. So recognize your influence. You were born with it. Use your influence on behalf of others. Use your influence with an attitude of humility and watch God use your extraordinary one-of-a-kind life. Please listen to this song.
In my mother's together for my future. For my good, you make all things work together for your glory, for your name. There's a healing just beyond the clouds. Oh, I walk through fire. I see clearly now. I know nothing has been wasted. No failure or mistake. 'Cause you're an artist and a potter. I'm a canvas and the clay. Make all things work together for my future. For my good, you make all things work together for your glory, for your name. For my good, and when I doubt it, Lord, remind me I'm wonderfully made. 'Cause you're an artist and a potter, I'm the canvas and the clay. And I know nothing has been wasted, no failure or mistake. 'Cause you're an artist and a potter, I'm the canvas and the clay. Make all things work together for my future. For your good, make all things work together for your glory, for your name. When I doubt it, Lord, remind me I'm wonderfully made. 'Cause you're an artist and a potter, I'm a canvas and the clay. And I know nothing has been wasted, no failure or mistake. 'Cause you're an artist and a potter, I'm a canvas and the clay. You're an artist and a potter, I'm a canvas and the clay. You're an artist and a potter, I'm a canvas and the clay.
Would you pray with me as we close this service? Dear Lord, what a wonderful song to close out this reminder, Lord. You are a creator. You are a creative God, and you created each and every single person here, Lord. And when we say, Lord, I'm your canvas, I'm your clay. This is the life that you have given me. And Lord, help me just glorify you with it. And as we learned from Esther's powerful story this morning, this young woman who lived in such a unique situation, when we just say, Lord, just use me. You created me with influence. Help me understand that and embrace that, and help me use it for good. A lot of times it can be used for such dark things, but Lord, it can also be used for such amazing things. And so, Lord, help us live with that awareness. I just want to thank you for this morning. I thank you for your word. Always has so much to teach us. And just thank you again for this beautiful day we get to enjoy. Praise your name. In Jesus' name, amen. Have a good week. Next week, 10 o'clock.
What a good time. Thank you guys for joining us once again. I just want to remind you guys before we go to sign up for the Global Leadership Summit to get the early bird rate. It's going to be a great time there as well. And also remember, starting next week, we are one service, 10 a.m. here online. So we hope you join us for that. Have a great week, everybody.